All right, Bijan, we got to look at some of these running backs that you looked up to when you were growing up.
Yeah.
Let's start with Thurman Thomas.
Okay.
Thurman
Oh yeah.
Thomas was a bad boy. He's 5'9", 200 pounds. What you like about his game?
I just think like for this time and for this age, like just how smooth he was. Like, I feel like people underestimate, just how he was as a runner, but he had so many great players around him, but he just knew how to just leverage. I feel like his runs and understand blocks, understand where the cut was supposed to be. So, I really enjoyed watching his highlights. Obviously, I didn't get to watch games and stuff, by him, but for how I guess he was a smaller back, as you can probably say, and in the time where dudes were a lot bigger and coming for you, but he was just super fluid and smooth in his game, and I enjoyed that.
But also LaDainian Tomlinson, my former teammate, that was a bad dude.
Oh,
I
yeah,
see
yeah,
a lot
yeah.
of him in your game as well. What you think about LT?
Yeah, so he's my favorite running back. Like, he's my favorite running back of all time. And the thing with him is, like, even this run right here, like, his contact balance is unbelievable. Like, it's elite. And I believe, like, you need, if you want to be a great running back, you need elite contact balance. And, you can't go down off at the first hit. And if you want to be, like, special, like, the second hit, too, breaking that second tackle is
And
huge.
he's a lot stronger than what you think. And that's kind of when I look at you, like,
Yeah.
you don't look like a big, physically imposing guy, but you're
Yeah.
a lot stronger than what
No
you
doubt.
look.
No doubt. And I'm like even for him and I, like, I'm 220, like 6', 220, and him, I know he just his lower half is just super strong, and then him catching out the backfield too is like super elite, and those are the running backs I look at.
Well,
guys.
for me, the greatest running back of all time is Barry Sanders,
He's
and
the
we
greatest.
got to talk about Barry Sanders
Yeah.
because because Saquon Barkley said, "No one cuts like you." And when you start thinking about the way you cut, this is the guy that
Yeah, so
that
this
comes
is
to mind.
so I watch his highlights before every game. I know a lot of people know that, but I just love to just take small pieces out of his game. Like, for him to stay low and just impact to the ground and still making like unbelievable moves is like, he's the greatest cutter of all time. I don't care what anybody says.
You
Like,
might be number two.
I mean, I'm trying every day, man. But like, it's just like you can see like his God-given ability is just like flowing through him as he's running on the field. But he's the greatest player. I think he's top 5 offensive player of all time.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter. Yep.
So I got to look at a guy that really reminds me of you, catching the ball out of the backfield, super smooth, and that's Marshall Faulk, Hall of Famer.
The guy.
What when you watch him play, one of the first things that come to your mind?
So I think his choice routes. So I'm really big into running choice routes, and I think for him, like, how he sets up defenders when he's running routes,
Yep.
and how he uses his eyes and how he manipulates them with his shoulders, like, it's like second to none. And I think I made a comment saying that, like, Christian McCaffrey runs the best choice routes of all time, which I think he's top 3 for sure. But he's definitely the guy that like runs the best choice routes, outbreaking routes, and understand, like, he's a receiver on the field. So that's what I look forward to, like, being receivers on the field, and he was the guy that like set that up.
Well, speaking of Christian McCaffrey, you get a chance to go up against your guy. What'd you like about his game? And I mean, definitely
Yeah.
he could do everything.
Yeah, I mean, for I feel like in today's game too, like, running backs that can do everything, running backs that can just be just as effective in the run game as they are in the pass game, then that's what makes you an elite player. And I mean, his whole career, like, as much as I train with him, I look up to him, and he does everything at a high level, and like even his recovery is at a high level. So, he's the dual threat king. He's been for a long time, and it's gonna be a fun matchup, like, playing up against him, and
No
I'm
doubt.
super excited.
One other guy, and this is my Chicago guy because I'm from
Okay.
Chicagoland area,
Okay.
is Walter Payton. And to me, you take his toughness and his work ethic.
Yes.
That's what I get from you when I watch Walter Payton.
Yeah, so the thing with multiple, so a lot of people ask me, like, sometimes you get hit, but you get right back up, like, immediately, and I'm like, yeah, that's because, first of all, I'm not trying to stay on the ground. Second of all, I gotta, let my teammates know that I'm good and ready to go for the next play. And I think with him, he just showed that, like, every time he ran the football, and he wasn't the biggest guy, but I mean, he ran like it, and every time he just put his head in there, or got tackled, or he was right back up and he was right on to the next play, ready to go. And that's what I look at Walter Payton. Like when you say his toughness, I mean he's as tough as it gets.
When you look at these old guys, what do you get out when you're watching these older guys play and this older tape?
Just smooth. Like they was all smooth.
Yeah.
Like it's like I don't know competition. It might look like they were just better than just everybody on the field. Like especially like in the 70s and the early 80s, and I was watching some Gale Sayers film, and I was like, this dude is just better than everybody.
That's right.
On the field. But even with Walter Payton, like I know these defenders aren't bad. Like, I know these are the best players of this time, but he's just making them look like they're just college football, like this run right here. I mean, they're doing some amazing things, but even when Barry Sanders came in the league and the things that he was doing, like these defenders look way bigger than him.
Yeah.
And just way more, but he's just way more athletic.
I know you have a lot of respect for these running backs, but how do you want to be remembered as a running back?
A guy that can do everything. Like I want to remember this guy that like changed the game, and looking at running backs, having a guy that you can just put at running back and be a threat, but then turn around and he's at receiver, and you're like, how did he just run the football, and then the next play he's catching a post or a drag route or something
Well,
like
you know what, I'm going to take you to that. Your 81-yard touchdown last week against Buffalo.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there watching the game, and then out of nowhere, right here, this is you. You don't even get touched till you're about 15 yards down the field. What were you thinking when this all transpired?
Well, first of all, I mean, our O-line is elite, man. Mm-hmm. Like, it's a blessing to have, an O-line and guys up front that can, set up blocks for you in the first place, and to instill toughness, to instill like, doing the same thing right every single time. So, I mean, they were the ones that set that up. But then,
what you see when you came to that hole and you just saw that opening, just all that green space?
I was like, I got to get in the end zone. I got to get in the end zone, and I got to do whatever I could to get in the end zone. And like when I saw, Casey Washington, our receiver, he set that block up, and shout out to him because I mean, he made an unbelievable block, so I can just get around him. And then when I saw that last defender, I was like, no, you can't let him tackle you at all. And this right here, for some running backs, like,
why you keep looking back? Ain't nobody gonna catch you. You keep
I know,
looking back like
what? No, I'm looking at 7. Like I'm looking at the player just to let him know, like, yeah, we in there.
Oh, okay, so you being a little cocky. I like it.
Just having fun with it. But I mean, as soon as I saw that last defender, I was like, this is what's gonna change your game is breaking that last tackle right here, because that's the most important one, and then that's what happens when you have those kind of plays.
Going against San Francisco's defense, obviously no Fred Warner. What do you respect about Fred's game?
I mean, he's the best in the league.
Yes.
Like, no doubt about it, he's the best in the league. Just how he runs from sideline to sideline, and just how smart he is, and his instincts. Like, he's playing running back as a linebacker, and obviously I was very looking forward to. I DM'd him on social media, just saying I'm praying for him, and this is on God's plan, and everything's gonna be all right. But he's one guy that you look forward to playing up against, and you look forward to the matchup against the best, and he's the best, and he instills it. He's a great dude. I met him at the Pro Bowl last year, and I mean he's the most solid guy it gets. But
well, a lot of people say that about you too,
man.
I gotta ask you though, how has your role on this offense changed? Because it seems like it's expanding even more.
Yeah, from last year to this year, it's changed a lot, and obviously last year was the first year in this offense.
In what way has it changed though?
In the way that I'm getting to do it, like everything. So expanding my role in the pass game, and obviously more in the run game. We're just adding a lot of things, but for me, just me understanding, receiving concepts, and now I have to know like backside concepts, frontside concepts, and trying to work with the receivers like every day, and going to receiver meetings and seeing what they're talking about. I was
going to ask you that too, Bijan.
Yeah.
I mean, you're dangerous anywhere that you get the football, but when you line up in that slot, you would actually scare me because you are so tough to tackle. You got phenomenal hands.
Yeah.
I think you can be a starting wide receiver in this league if you had to be. Your thoughts?
I appreciate that. Well, yeah, I mean, like that's how we work hard. Like my coach, Coach Petrie, my running back coach, he's like, bro, like if you weren't a running back, like you could be a a number one receiver on the team. And I was like, that's a testament of, you know, the gifts that God's given me to use those. And for me, like, you know, I've been playing 7-on-7 my whole life growing up in flag football. So I've been playing receiver in the off season my whole life. And then when the season came, like I do both. But for me, like, it's important to be a threat out there because, you know, that's a 220-pound player that's lining up our receiver that's super explosive. So, like, if you can get the ball in my hands or in a guy like that's hands, like, the DB still has to tackle you at the end of the day.
Right.
And
it opens up opportunities for Drake London and Kyle Pitts and those guys underneath.
There it is. And that's why it's like we call it like we call it like adding and subtracting, just because like I'm adding a play to Drake, to Mooney, to Kyle, and then like you just said, it just opens up everything else for the offense.
Now, during the offseason, after a season, we go and we say we have to get better at this one specific thing. What is that one specific thing that you wanted to bring into the season?
Yeah.
Whether it was pass blocking, what was that one thing you said I got to get better at as a running back?
Just my route running and route techniques. Like, you know, I want to know, you know, my steps and counting my steps and knowing when to break, knowing how to, you know, read man and zone, getting better at that. You know, obviously I'm always working on running back stuff. I'm always working on my running game. I'm always working on pass blocking. But then it was super important for me to, you know, take that next step and learn the other side of the game and, you know, complementing it with the pass game and me, you know, watching different receivers, learning from different receivers. And I mean, even working with Christian in the offseason, like, you know, we were running routes, a lot of routes in the offseason and in the summer. And I mean, that's what I was trying to look forward to in my game.
What keeps you balanced? Because you seem like you have this really steady personality. You don't get too high, you don't get too low. You're just always pretty steady. But what keeps you balanced?
I'll say my faith. That's the biggest thing. Like, you know, you know, a lot of people, everybody knows me as, you know, high faith guy, you know, my belief in God and Jesus and what he's done for me. And, you know, my family instilled that in me since I was born. So that's what keeps me being the man who I am today. A very positive human being. Like, you know, he's who grounds me. He's what grounds me. He's who I do everything for. And, you know, I'm a person that will never change. Like, I'll be the same person my whole life just because that's what I look forward to.
You know, it was really cool, man, when we were at the Washington Commanders and Atlanta came.
Yep.
And you came up to Coach Dungy and you introduced yourself.
Absolutely.
And I thought that was the coolest thing. And you were so humble and so soft-spoken. I said, Coach, this dude is special, not just on the football field. And we were like, this dude is special off the field. Where did that humility come from?
Yeah, I'll say, you know, my grandfather, you know, Cleo Robinson, he's the guy who I learned everything from. You know, I lived with my grandparents when I was growing up, and my mom was 20 minutes away when she got married, so like I would always go back and forth. But my grandpa, man, like, you know, if you met him, then you would understand who I am as a person. And, you know, he goes into any room and he puts smiles on everybody's faces, but like just him teaching me like that respect and respecting the people that's done it before you. Like, I mean, you two are legends, but even if you guys weren't, like, I still came up and said hello just because you guys are in the moment. You guys are right there. So, you know, for me, like, that's important. And, you know, him instilling that in me and teaching me that and, you know, disciplining me, like, when it was necessary, you know, just taught me all the values of being, you know, a good dude.
How does your responsibilities change as a player or as a running back when you have such a young quarterback?
Yeah, I mean, I think it helps Mike a lot. Like when the running game is flowing at a very high level, and when he has guys around him that, you know, if he can put it at any spot on the field, and you know we could take it the distance. But you know, I think it really helps him out that, you know, for me, I always tell him, you know, if you're ever in a bind or you can't see a read or something like that, just
that's really
I'm
cool.
Right there,
that's
like,
really cool as a quarterback to have that option.
Absolutely. And for him, I mean, it's important because obviously we see every single week he's growing every single game, and every day, like, he's taking the next step. He's getting more comfortable, and that's what we want. Like, we want him to be as comfortable as possible.
That's good. That was going to be my next question. What gets you excited about him and the fact that he's learning, he's growing, he's getting better?
Yeah, I mean, he's super talented. Like, his arm is special. Like that dude can launch it anywhere on the field, and I mean he shows it in practice. Like, and for me, like starting to go to these receiver meetings and to see him explain the routes and to explain where he wants to put the ball and how he puts the ball right there every single time, I'm just like, bro, you got all the tools, bro. Like you got it. And as the weeks keep going on, I feel like he's just getting better and better, and he's just locking in even more. And I mean, that's what you want from the QB right there to continue to be the best that he can every single week.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Coach Raheem Morris, I call him just a big bundle of energy.
Yeah.
What's impressed you about him and his impact on you guys?
Man, I mean, with him, like he's what you want in a head coach. You know, I've had a lot of amazing head coaches in my life, and you know, he's the next one. Like for him, I mean, he makes me want to like go out there and run through a brick wall every single time, and that's how all of us feel, because like you just want to play for him, you want to give your best effort for him, because he every single day, like he gives his best effort to you every single day. Like there's not one day where he has a bad day, and I try to ask him, I'm like, Coach, you ever had a bad day before? Like, and he's like, you know, B, like this is my blessing right here.
Wow.
Like to be right here with you guys, to be in the moment, to make sure I'm, you know, positive and enjoying the time with you, because I mean, you know, we don't know what life can bring us the next day or the next moment. So, you know, I think for him saying that to us, like, you know, we work so hard but we do it in such an enjoyable way, and we have so much fun doing it. And I think that's just the difference in what he brings to us than what a lot of other coaches do.
How can this team become more of a consistent team and more of a consistent contender in this division?
Yeah, I would say just take it one day at a time. You know, I think the big saying is like 1-0. And, you know, in the past, like we would always say, like, we got to win the division, we got to win the playoffs, we got to make it to the playoffs, we want to win the Super Bowl. Like, we're looking ahead before we're even like trying to focus on the team at task. So I think with us, like, it's so important that, you know, we just take Monday, Tuesday, like, and just take it 1 week at a time, because, you know, I feel like as soon as teams start looking ahead, as soon as you start looking to the next game, or like, you know, you might not play the best team, or, you know, that's when you get beat. And I mean, it happened to us this year. We came off of a big win against Minnesota. Like, we was all happy, we was all excited.
That was a Sunday night game.
That was Sunday night game, yep. And we were just all just enjoying that week. And then we came in against the Panthers, and they were, I guess, 1-something. And it's like we look kind of overlooked.
How do you avoid that in the future as a leader?
Yeah. Just tell them
You guys just came off a great win against Buffalo. How do you know, and then you have to travel on a short week, a West Coast trip. That's a challenge in and of itself.
Absolutely. And I just tell the guys, like, you know, you got to take every game as a Super Bowl. Like, this is the game of the week, every single week.
That's right.
And, you know, for us, like, you know, the 49ers just came off a loss, and they're about to bring everything that they can, as the Bills did. Like, the Bills came off a loss, they're going to bring their everything. This is on Monday Night Football. Everybody's watching this game, and we have the same situation here. Like, so every team is going to bring their best effort. Like, it doesn't matter who it is on the field. Like, it doesn't matter who they're playing up against. Like, that's the mentality.
You know what I like to see? I like when you and Tyler Algier is on the field at the same
Yeah.
time. I love when you're in the slot.
Yeah.
He's back there in that position, and he can run downhill. But you guys have two totally different playing styles. How do you guys complement each other?
Yeah, I mean, I think the coolest thing is, we're best friends off the field. Like,
Awesome.
that's my best friend right there. Like, that's my
Wow.
dude. Like, I know God put us together for a reason. But the cool thing with us is, like, when I'm on the field, you know, and he's about to come in, like, I'll tell him to look out for some keys. Like, they're punching at the ball, they're tackling low. Watch out for this guy. Like, he's punching more worried about getting a tackle. And I'll tell him that.
So all those little details.
I tell him all that.
Always communicate.
Yep, and then he'll communicate with me, like, when he's in the game, he'll say, "Hey, watch out for this guy. Watch out for this blitz. Watch out for what's coming around." And, you know, if there's an incoming and he's trying to grab, like, watch out. Like, so, like, we're giving each other, obviously, our running back coach, Coach Petrie, he's prepared us throughout the whole week. He's given us the information during the game, but, you know, we're on the field, so we're seeing what needs to be happening. And so we give us that information, like, right away, especially in timeouts. It's pretty cool.
Wow.
Yep.
And For me, too, I have to look at this defense. This defense looks different. It looks so fast when you watch it out there. What do you see in practice with all this speed and athleticism that you guys have on defense?
Oh, man. I mean, so in training camp, you know, I thought I was tripping because I was like, sometimes we just can't get nothing going, like, against them. Like, we couldn't get nothing off. Obviously, as training camp was going on, like, we were starting to, like, click and become, like, the option we want to become, but every day was a challenge. Like, every day was a challenge. I mean, they were bringing pressure. They were locking down zones. Like, we were trying to find everything.
Disguising coverages and stuff.
And I would joke with them. I'd be like, all right, y'all better do this in the game, too. Because
what they say?
They're like, oh, yeah, we will. Like, just wait. And so, like, just having, like, Brick, our new DC, like, his energy is unbelievable. And I mean, those dudes are. It's like fun to watch. Like I have the iPad on the sideline, but I'm like looking up just because I just want to see what's going to happen next.
Dude, I've watched the Falcons for a long time. Obviously, covered you your entire career, and I hadn't seen a defense with these type of guys. He's starting to get the right type of guys in there. Jalen Walker and those guys, Pierce, another young
rookies.
guy, Divine Diablo, who's been a big physical presence for you guys in the middle.
I just told Divine, I was like, bro, people wouldn't even realize you play for the Raiders because you becoming such a star here. And I told him, I was like, dude, like, this has to be a system base because you are in the perfect system.
He is.
Like,
he looked lost with the Raiders at times last year. You know, the years before that. I watched him, and now he comes here and he's standing out. He looks like this is a perfect fit for him.
The perfect fit. And I'm like, dude, like, I played you last year, and I was like, you are way different in this defense. And I was like, bro, you're a star, like, in this defense. Like, I don't know how they use him right, but they use him the perfect way, and I mean it's cool to watch.
Last question for me is these two safeties. I'm a big Jesse Bates fan and Xavier Watts. He's come in, he's learned. What do you see from these guys moving forward?
Yeah, greatness. Like those two dudes. It's something about y'all light skins, man, back there. You know, it's something about y'all, man, because
you had to go there.
Yeah, it's different because I mean those two right there, like not only do they play off each other, you know, extremely well, but for Jesse being the guy in the league and for Xavier being this rookie that can already be the guy now, like he's already that dude in this league is pretty special to watch. And you know, with Xavier, like I just knew from the first couple practices, I was like, all right, like
y'all got one.
Yeah, we got us one. Yep. I don't know how he fell. I don't ask those questions.
Crazy. I thought he was the best safety in college football.
I did too, and it's crazy because like I see his ball skills. Like even in practice today, he had this pick, and I was like, dude, that was unbelievable. And he's the nicest dude ever. He was like, thanks, man. I was like, cool, bro. Like, but to see those two back there and, you know, giving quarterbacks headaches, it's pretty fun to watch.
So I've heard you've developed a friendship with LeBron James. What advice did he give you?
Yeah, I mean, so it's pretty cool. Like, so my rookie year, or before my rookie year, I signed with Clutch, and that's the agency that we're both with. Mm-hmm. And, you know, my agent, Nicole, you know, it was super dope that she, you know, her and Rich Paul, his agent, took me to the Lakers game, and like LeBron's my favorite athlete. So you know, after the game, he came down and he was like, "Yo, Bijan," said he knew exactly who I was, and you know, he was like, "Bro, I'm a big fan, bro. Like, been watching you in college." And in my head, I'm like, "You've been watching me in college? Yes. Like, this is crazy." And it was just like a really cool moment to hear about, you know. He's seen me play before, and then we got to just chop it up, and you know, he was just like, bro, just continue to just understand, like, don't change, you know, as a pro, man. Like, you know, the sky's the limit. You know, you have this God-given talent. Like, make sure you always understand, like, who you're doing this for and why you're doing this. And he was like, even for me, he was like, there's too much distraction out here. And he was like, I could have been distracted so many steps in my life. But he was like, I just always understood, like, why I need to be out here, whose lives am I changing, and I'm changing so many people's lives around me, and obviously he is, and he does it at the highest level, and he's been doing it at the highest level for a very long time before I was born. So, to hear him say that to me, and like for me to, continue to do that, and always stay the same is pretty awesome. But then obviously, like throughout the years, like we've been in the same rooms, like just enjoying each other. Like we were both sitting in the same suite at the national championship, just like going back and forth, and it's always
he's not feeding you no BS. I mean,
Absolutely not.
What he telling you is straight real. And think about this: basketball players, they love and respect football players because that's what they want to be. And the same thing with us, we always want to be hoopers.
Yeah, absolutely. And like it's cool, like to hear him talk and to hear him like, give me these little pointers, because I mean, he's the one who everybody's like maybe wants to be like one day. I mean, LeBron James is the king of like the male sports.
And guess what I'm seeing too? This number 7 from Atlanta, he's getting a lot of attention too.
I mean, it's great. Like I always try to badge down the attention because I'm too humble. I'm too humble of a guy. Like you can't get nothing out of me. I mean, that's just who I am. But then I saw that in him too. Like, and LeBron, like his humility is unbelievable. And for me, like, I want people to know, like, if somebody didn't know who I was on the street, like, I wouldn't even want them to know who I am. Like, I don't introduce myself. I just say I'm Bijan. How you doing? I always introduce my first name, like, just because, like, that's how I feel like we all got to live our lives. Just continue to be humble, man.
Thank you, Bijan, for your time, brother. I wish you the best.
Absolutely, bro. Yes, sir, brother.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.